The Raiders have won 35. They're at it again on ABC's Monday Night Football. Secure Oakland.
Well, it's Monday night and we're ready to strike. Our special forces are in full flight. We're coming by air and on the ground. Enemies collide in the big showdown. We gotta get ready. We gotta get right. The Chiefs and the Raiders ain't holding back tonight. So get ready. I mean, get ready. Are you ready for some football? A Monday Night Football. We got Frank and Al and Dan. They're gonna get it kick-started. Lynn and the crew's all set. The crowd is psyched, 'cause all my rowdy friends are back for Monday night.
The city of Oakland, California in the foreground, and as we look across the San Francisco Bay, the familiar side of the bridge in the skyline of San Francisco, and it has been raining and hard here in San Francisco. It is picked up over the last couple of hours. A sellout crowd here at Oakland Alameda County Stadium for Monday Night Football, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Oakland Raiders. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford with Al Michaels and Dan Deerdorf. And like all the games that were played this weekend of the National Football League, tonight's game will be played with the backdrop of the loss of the former commissioner of the National Football League, Pete Rozelle, who passed away on Friday night. We'll be talking more about Pete. And knowing Pete as I did, we'll be talking more about halftime, but knowing Pete as I did, I know he would appreciate a matchup like this, an AFC West matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Oakland Raiders. The Raiders coming in tonight at 6-7, desperately need a win tonight to stay alive for a playoff spot. And Kansas City coming in knowing that they have already clinched a playoff spot, a wild card, if they can win tonight. And they have been dominant over this Raider team, Al, particularly through the 90s, but Marty Schottenheimer himself has a tremendous record for the Kansas City Chiefs over the Raiders.
They really have the Raiders number. In fact, they've won 7 straight, Frank, and during the decade of the 90s, 12 of the 13 regular season meetings have been won by the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that was 13-3 last year, flopped in the playoffs, but President Carl Peterson and Marty Schottenheimer decided to keep the core of the team together for consistency. Their record is 9-4. They have been fairly consistent, but have made a major change at the most critical position, quarterback. Steve Bono is out. Rich Gannon is in for the balance of the season, a 9th-year journeyman who previously had played with Minnesota and Washington. He guided the team to a win on Thanksgiving Day against Detroit, and instead of the West Coast offense that they employed, they are now predominantly a running team. They need big games tonight from Marcus Allen against his ex-mates, Greg Hill, and Gannon himself, who ran for 5 first downs against Detroit. This is also an old team. The Kansas City Chiefs have 21 players 30 years of age or older. For this particular group of Chiefs, it's now or never time. And tonight they take on the Oakland Raiders, and the Raiders then have to figure at this point, how in the world do we beat Kansas City? How do they do it?
Well, you mentioned in those 13 regular season games here in the 90s, Al, that the Raiders have lost 12 of those 13, and really there are some very good reasons why. In those 13 games, the Chiefs turned the ball over 9 times. The Raiders, 29 times. The Raiders have committed almost 40 more penalties than the Chiefs in those 13 games. So Mike White knows that if he can cut back on those 2 areas alone, they have a good chance to win the ball game tonight. Mike White also knows at 6-7 that probably they have to run the table to finish up at 9-7 to make the playoffs. Now they do some things well, and one of them is that they're in every ball game they play. Of their 7 losses, 6 of them have been by 6 points or less. So you know they're playing hard, and 2 of those losses were in overtime. If they're to win tonight, they have to run the ball effectively, and they can. They're number 3 in the NFL. Down on the field, though, with Lynn Swann right now is the head coach of the opponent, the Kansas City Chiefs. That's Marty Schottenheimer.
Thank you very much, Dan. Marty, the guys upstairs have all talked about the dominance of this team over the Raiders. But is it a matter of just fundamental football, or as Derek Thomas would suggest, it's more a matter of the heart?
Well, I think it's been a matter of us being able to take the ball away from them more than they've done so with us. That clearly is the one thing that you can identify that's been a part of this recent contest.
All right, but there's still a lot of motion in this ball game. Rich Gannon's going to start for you. He's never started against the Raiders. How do you assess his stake right now?
Well, you know, listen, he's an accomplished player. He's got a lot of experience. Our whole football team's got to try to meet the challenge of playing a Raider team that's much better now than we were when we faced them early in the year, Lynn.
I know you've been very successful. You're looking to continue that streak. Thank you very much.
That's our attempt, yep.
Al, I'll tell you, this field was covered up until 2 hours before the game. It's in pretty good shape considering, but the footing is going to be very precarious.
At the Oakland Coliseum, even under relatively dry conditions when there hasn't been rain for a while. And here we go from Oakland with Louis Aguiar kicking off a line drive taken at the goal line by Napoleon Kaufman. And Kaufman, who will see a lot of action at running back tonight, runs the kick back to the 16-yard line, tackled by Jerome Woods. And Jeff Hostetler, who guided the Giants to a win over the Buffalo Bills in Super Bowl 25, now in his 4th season with the Raiders. He has Harvey Williams starting in the backfield, the ex-Chief, along with Derek Fenner. Jed and Brown outside, Ricky Dudley, the tight end from Ohio State. Harlow, Wisniewski, Robbins, Gogan, and Kennedy will be very key tonight because in the prior meetings between these two teams in recent years, the Chief defensive line has really dominated the Raiders' offensive line. First down from the 16-yard line, and Hostetler to throw. The secondary does its job, and he has to throw it away. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Good work by the Kansas City secondary. Let's take a look at Kansas City's defense. The base 4-3. Smith, Phillips, Saliamua, and Booker up front. Then the linebackers, the great Derek Thomas with Simeon and Anthony Davis, and a good secondary. Carter and Hasty at the corners. Washington and Collins, the safeties. Hasty and Collins, according to Marty Schottenheimer, are playing the best football of any 2 players on this team and are legitimate Pro Bowl contenders. 2nd down and 10 from the 16-yard line. And Hostetler gives the ball to Harvey Williams, and he can't get on track. That's Neil Smith greeting his former teammate.
Neil Smith coming off kind of an ordinary season for him. He's only got 4.5 sacks coming in tonight, way below what he's had in the past. He's been a consistent Pro Bowl player, but he's had a lot of nicks. He's had an ankle, he's had a back problem. And both of these teams, Dan, are going to try to run the football. Marty loves to run the football, and the Chiefs are doing it well this year. They're 5th in the league at rushing, and the Raiders are 3rd in the league. So they're both going to try to rush the ball tonight.
I agree, Frank. We could have a fast game tonight.
3rd and 13 after a loss of 3. A 4-man rush, and they run the ball, and it's Harvey Williams barely getting on track, running into traffic, stopped at the original line of scrimmage after a gain of 3. So it'll be 4th and 10 as Martin Bayless comes up to make the tackle, and there is an injured Chief. The injured Kansas City Chief is the defensive end Vaughn Booker, who bookends Neil Smith, the defensive left end, shaken up.
I want you to look at his right leg. He's going to be cut by the left tackle, Pat Harlow. Watch it flex to the inside right there. Luckily, his shoe kicked out, but still, that looks like a major flex of his right knee, but yet Vaughn Booker jumped up and ran off the field.
And he should be very happy. This is a natural surface because both of his shoes came out of this surface, probably would not have on a synthetic surface.
That thing gave an awful lot. He's got very loose knees if he's not hurt badly.
Here's Leo Araguz. It's his first NFL kick, and it's a nice one. Fielded by Camerick Vanover at the 33-yard line, and he's able to turn the corner and bring it back to the 45. Araguz picked up from the World League's Rhein Germany Fire. That's the name of the team, the Rhein Fire, and supplanting the injured Jeff Cossett. All right, so Rich Gannon now in his 9th season out of Delaware, originally drafted by the Patriots, was a backup mainly at Minnesota for a few years, then went to Washington, and now it's in his hands. Marcus Allen and Kimball Anders in the backfield. Penn and LaChapelle outside. Walker is the tight end, and the guys up front. Criswell for the injured All. Zock, Grunhard, Shields, and Sigler. Good interior 5. First down, Kansas City from the 44-yard line. Fake to Allen, and Marcus does his job with a block, and Gannon goes deep for LaChapelle, and it's broken up by former Chief Albert Lewis. 11 seasons at Kansas City, and now with Oakland.
And in great position.
Take a look now defensively at the Oakland Raiders. Up front, Lance Johnstone, a rookie out of Temple, with Russell Maryland, the ex-Cowboy. McLaughlin having a great year, and Swilling. Morton, Beekert, and Jones are the linebackers. Jones leading the team in tackles. And then in the secondary, McDaniel and Lewis with Lynch and Carrington at safeties. Eddie Anderson is in uniform, but not 100%, and won't see that much action in the secondary as Marcus Allen fights his way over right guard and out to the 50-yard line for a gain of 6.
Well, the first break of the game goes to Kansas City, and that they get to start with such good field position, starting at their own 44-yard line. Defensively, they forced the Raiders into a 3-and-out, and now they've got this type of field position. Question is, can they capitalize on it? See him retaping the ankle of Vaughn Booker. And again,
I would have thought it would have been the knee.
Did you see that knee bend? That guy has the loosest knees in the NFL.
Fortunately, 3rd down and 5 as Marcus Allen moves to the outside and can't turn the corner, tackled at the 49. Albert Lewis has a big first series.
And a huge series for the Raiders defensively. That was a monster series for the Raiders, stifling the Chiefs and negating that wonderful field position Kansas City started with.
And Albert Lewis in perfect position coming up, and Marcus really never had great speed to begin with, and Lewis timing it out perfectly, the 36-year-old cornerback who has kind of had a Pro Bowl season once again, regenerated here for the Oakland Raiders. He's had a great year.
Louis Aguiar to punt, and there's movement up front. And then finally a flag gets thrown. There was all kinds of movement and pointing, but the flag was thrown late. It's Red Passion's crew tonight, and Red will tell us about it.
Before the snap, ball starts. Number 59 on the offense. 5 yards, still 4th down.
Mike Stock, the special teams coach. It's Donnie Edwards who moves, and hardly a harmful penalty under these circumstances. It simply moves the line of scrimmage back to the Kansas City 46 and gives Aguiar a little bit more room to work with. Tim Brown has returned more kicks than any man in the history of the National Football League, more punts back to accept it. Floating kick and pretty short, and the fair catch is called for and made by Brown at the 22-yard line. So for each team, the first series, 3-and-out. 3:03 into the game, no score.
At the right knee and how much it gives. And Vaughn Booker, I think, remarkably back out on the field. Good for you, Vaughn.
And it wasn't the knee, it was the ankle.
They're saying it's a strained right ankle, twisted right ankle, and he's back in the game.
This is nary a play. It's 1st and 10 from the 22-yard line. Hostetler throws, and it's caught underneath, juggled by Ricky Dudley, who almost lost the football. He's the rookie from Ohio State who went to OSU as a basketball player, only played 2 years of football and became the Raiders' #1 draft choice, and has been having problems holding onto the football.
It was interesting. He's only played 3 years of football, if you count the 2 at Ohio State you mentioned. Now this is his 3rd year of big-time football, and he started every game for these Raiders. I think he started in the 3rd game.
He got real fortunate there. Neil Smith actually knocked the ball back into his hands.
2nd and 11. Hostetler hangs in the pocket, and the pass is caught by Harvey Williams, who gets tackled immediately up at the 25-yard line by Anthony Davis.
Mike White giving Harvey Williams the start tonight, I think, more because of his background with Kansas City, thinking that Harvey would have a real emotional edge going against his former teammates. He feels that he was wronged by Marty Schottenheimer and Carl Peterson and wasn't used correctly in Kansas City, and Mike White going for every emotional edge he can get in this game. He's got to try to turn the tide somehow.
Rain coming down steadily on a 57-degree night. 3rd down and 7 from the 25-yard line. 5-man rush. They pick up Davis coming in over the middle, and Dale Carter comes in to knock down the pass. So we have not had a first down in the game. 3-and-out go the Raiders. Darryl Hobbs was the intended receiver.
Boy, and Dale Carter was in a lot of traffic. That's a good defensive play on a very tricky field. He got himself in all kinds of traffic. Now watch number 34 right to the left of your screen. Goes around the tight end, Ricky Dudley, and gets in there for the deflection and avoids the flag too.
Beautiful. Perfect timing.
Here's Leo Araguz. Jeff Gossett was hurt, so he's gone for the season, as you see Vanover. Then they brought in Rich Camarillo to punt, but he was hurt in pregame warm-ups a week ago. Billy Joe Hobart punted, and then they signed Araguz. And his second NFL kick is a short one. 35 yards on the fly, but takes a nice bounce. It'll look a lot better on the stat sheet as it's down at the 28. 47-yard boot for Araguz. KC takes over there. 9:43 left in the quarter. No score. 9:43 left in the opening quarter in Oakland. No score. Chiefs with the ball from their own 28. Gannon back in the pocket. Fires a little bit low and incomplete. Intended for Chris Penn, who has become the Chiefs' leading receiver this year. They lost Lake Dawson early in the season, and that was a big loss. And then they let Willie Davis go. He was the only starter they elected not to re-sign. He went to Houston.
Good-looking protection, beautiful pass route, classic setup by the quarterback.
And a bad throw.
And a horrible throw. Almost. It was only about 3 yards short.
Steve Bono wearing the headset. The erstwhile starter now backing up Gannon. 2nd and 10, and they give it to Marcus Allen. He picks about 3 up over the middle as he takes it to the 31-yard line. Tackled by Beekert. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Miller Lite. When you've got the great taste of an ice cold Miller Lite, life is good. Priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service. Circuit City, the choice for price, selection, and service. And Jeep, makers of the Jeep Grand Cherokee, and Wrangler. Coming down in Oakland. Steady rain most of the day. Soggy field. 3rd down 7 at the 31-yard line. We've not had a first down in the game. And we play 6 minutes as Gannon throws off his back foot and errantly intended for Sean LaChapelle.
The corner blitz was on, but it was picked up fairly well. Gannon just kind of panicked a little bit back there and could have got the ball to LaChapelle, it did appear. He read the blitz. And Kansas City reacted to it rather well. He had time to throw the ball and just overthrew it.
Well, they overloaded that one side. The initial blitzer was picked up, and then Gannon could have held it for maybe another half a second. He certainly could have delivered it a little more accurately. So neither one of these teams off to a blazing start offensively yet.
Here's Aguiar's 459th career punt. He's never had one blocked. There's a flag down. It's a low liner fielded by Brown at the 32-yard line, and he's forced out of bounds up at the 40, and we'll see about the flag. Red Cashin, the great Red, we love him, with his trademark first down call in his last season as an NFL referee, and tonight obviously his last Monday night game as a ref. And offside, Oakland.
The way the first downs are going in this game,
That's right.
Red may go quietly into the night.
It's against the Raiders. It's a 5-yarder, though, for offside and not enough for the first down, so KC will still have to punt. Mike White awaiting the call.
Offside. Number 23 on the defense. 5 yards, still 4th down.
Putting a little slippery. I think Aguiar is just being a little careful. He goes one of those line drives to Brown. He's liable to have it run right down his throat.
Well, that was Aguiar's second punt of the night, and his first one wasn't exactly a thing of beauty either. So Louis still looking for his first really good punt of the evening.
There it is, the NFL record for most punts without having one blocked. Earlier this year, he had one deflected. The long went past the line of scrimmage and was recorded as a 1-yard kick.
The long snapper gets a lot of credit for that.
Oh, yeah, through the years. At the 19-yard line, that's taken in by Brown. Looking for room. Aguiar tries to stop him and is able to slow him down and knock him down at the 46-yard line.
Oh, they get on Tim Brown about that. But he made a little move right about midfield. He lost his footing and was on his way down, actually helping Aguiar make the tackle. But Louis, he saved it.
Raiders will have it in KC territory when we come back.
Cigars looking a little soggy there. A Raider Santa Claus. I think he did get here early.
Have a Tampa, buddy. At the 46-yard line, this is Napoleon Kaufman breaking one to the short side of the field, runs by Hastings, and then Collins is able to tackle him at the 1-yard line.
As the run of the year. What moves by Napoleon Kaufman.
45 yards, and only Collins was able to knock him down just shy of the goal line.
Oh, boy, did he have some fine blocking at the point of attack. Right tackle Lincoln Kennedy gets out there with a good block. Watch 72, Kennedy. Gogan, 66, turns upfield. Fenner, 34, gets a good lead block on Derek Thomas. And then there's a block by Tim Brown. And the rest is all Napoleon Kaufman. Look at that.
First and goal. And a little sloppy on the exchange between Hostetler and Barrett Robbins, and it's Derek Fenner stopped for no gain. Second down and goal.
Boy, what a good look at how many people it takes a lot of times to make a run happen. You had 4 or 5 really excellent blocks on that run by Napoleon Kaufman.
And the runs downfield too, Dan.
Yep.
They weren't all at the line of scrimmage. Get a reverse angle here.
That's a really nice play by Martin Bayless, number 21 from Kansas City, who got upfield and stuffed that thing.
Jerry Bull, the big defensive lineman, is in as the fullback. Fenner is the tailback. The play fake by Haas, who looks to the end zone, throws, and it's caught for the touchdown by Andrew Glover, the tight end.
Well, Jeff Hostetler has always been one of those quarterbacks that when he comes outside carrying the football, he is not a perceived threat. He's a legitimate threat to carry the football into the end zone, and that's what made that play happen.
Exactly, Dan. He started to pull it down and run with the football. He looks for a receiver. Now caught in the mix is Brian Washington. Do I come up and make the tackle? Or do I let him throw the football? He let him throw the football, 6 points.
Washington was the only Kansas City defender in a position to make a play on Hostetler. He took 2 steps upfield. Jeff read it, froze him, had a relatively easy touchdown.
Cole forward for the point after. So Kaufman picks up the game's first down on a scintillating 45-yard run. Glover scores his first touchdown in over a year, since October of '95. 6:59 left in the quarter. 7-0 Raiders. And Kaufman bundled up after a tremendous 45-yard run. Almost got into the end zone. And then Haas took him in with his pass to Glover. Raiders leading 7-0. As the Kansas City Chiefs, with a mark of 9-4, down by a touchdown. With a win tonight, Kansas City clinches a playoff berth. Vanover takes the Cole Ford kick at the 9. And Tamarik is then pushed back at the 27, and there's a marker down. Eddie Anderson playing on special teams tonight, helping to make the stop. Marty Schottenheimer wrapping up his 8th season at the helm in Kansas City, and it's a hold against his run-back unit. Mike White wrapping up his 2nd season as the Raiders head coach.
Doing the return, holding, number 55 by the receivers, 10 yards, first down and 10.
Troy Dumas.
Again, let's go back and take a look at Napoleon Kaufman's run. Just all the moves. He danced outside of Dale Carter to that side. James Hasty here, number 40. Watch him. He goes for the football, not for Kaufman.
That's all he had left to go for, Dan.
Kaufman will have none of that.
Great move to the inside. Collins tries to strip it. Kaufman hangs on.
Now the Chiefs from the 18-yard line. Here's Marcus Allen breaking one to the left side, up to the 31-yard line. A pickup of 13 for the former Raider. First down for Kansas City.
We watched Marcus early in the game. Well, he came out very early because his back was bothering. It was very stiff. He was stretching, and we watched him, and we were wondering whether he was going to be able to play tonight.
Well, he's walking off the field very gingerly right now.
I talked to Paul Hackett in the hallway as the offensive coordinator of Kansas City, said it was troubling him, but he thought he'd be all right tonight. But he's left the field.
You have Greg Hill in the game. Hill has been seeing a lot of action. In fact, it's almost 50-50 now on Hill's first carry of the night, up to the 32. Still, if Allen can't go, that means Hill would play a lot. So it's not that harmful, but what the two guys do back and forth is really give you a great change of pace.
Quite frankly, Greg Hill would do a lot more of it. He came up with great numbers from Texas A&M, a first-round draft pick in '94, and if we look at the numbers by Marcus against the Raiders as a Chief, but Greg Hill would like to be the featured back. There's no question about it. And he's put some great numbers up there over the past few games.
You mentioned that, Frank. The last 5 games, he's averaged almost 6 yards a carry.
2nd and 9, the play clock running down after Gannon repositions the receivers. Rich on the run, avoids the sack. He can scramble.
Well, and that's why he replaced Steve Bono. For that and that alone. His mobility made Marty Schottenheimer make the move to put Rich Gannon in there instead of Steve Bono. And right now, Greg Biekert is well aware of Gannon's mobility.
Well, he's a good athlete. He ran 5 times for first down against Detroit on Thanksgiving Day. Now, look, he's looking at number 27. He wants Greg Hill to do something that Greg Hill is not doing. That means he has to pull it down. He kept his head about him and turned a big loss into just almost getting back to the line of scrimmage.
Ooh. Biekert, the middle linebacker of the Raiders, went sailing right by Gannon. You know a middle linebacker hates to miss a shot on a quarterback.
3rd and 13, play clock down to 2. Gannon buys time, hangs in, throws high, and it is picked off at the 50-yard line by Darren Carrington. And he brings it back to the 30-yard line.
Ball overthrown. LaChapelle, the intended receiver. I don't know whether it was deflected or not. LaChapelle went up for it. But Carrington, who started for Eddie Anderson tonight, comes up with a big interception.
And that's Gannon's first interception of the year. And it hurts.
LaChapelle on a crossing pattern. Good protection. LaChapelle goes up. No, I don't think he touched it. It was just a good high ball play by Carrington.
That ball was high and behind LaChapelle. Just not a very good throw by Rich Gannon.
Raiders at the Chief 29, 4:44 left in the quarter. Oakland leading 7-0. And Haas going for 6, going for Brown, but he was well covered. Hasty with the coverage. 2nd down and 10. But we asked Marty Schottenheimer last night, the question was put to him, if Gannon has a bad half, what do you do? Would you go back to Bono? He said, absolutely not. I don't want a quarterback controversy. It's Gannon all the way. Gannon tonight is 0 for 4 with a pick at the outset.
Well, we'll see.
Yes.
0 for 4 with an interception. Will make you hedge your bets, won't it?
2nd down and 10 in a big game. 2nd and 10 to the 29-yard line. And this is Harvey Williams taking it to the 25. They are very deep, are the Raiders, in the backfield. As you look at Carrington, they have Kaufman. We've seen him tonight. They've got Harvey Williams. Mike White says he's my best all-around back. They have Derek Fenner, and they have a kid named Joe Aska, who's averaging 5.5 yards a game but can't get into the game.
Gannon checking out some of the Polaroids that have been sent down. Those Polaroids usually snap right after the snap of the ball to get the defensive movement.
You mentioned Aska, Al. He's been bothered by a bad ankle, but you're right. He's well now. He just can't get a sniff of the football.
Yep. Raiders as a team are averaging a sparkling 4.7 yards per run. It's 3rd down and 6, and that is not caught. Hobbs incomplete. Almost caught it at the 20-yard line, and still would have been short of the 1st down, covered by Bayless. And now Cole Ford comes in to attempt a field goal.
Variation of that overload they ran before. Remember when Dale Carter made the good play? This time it worked to perfection. They had the guy wide open, and Hobbs just didn't handle the football.
The Raiders this season have gotten off to slow starts almost every week. They have scored, coming into tonight's game, only 21 points all season in the 1st quarter. If Ford makes this, it'll be the first time they've scored more than 7 in the opening period this season.
And Al, very hard to kick off of a wet field like this.
43-yard attempt. It's a low kick, and it is good. With a new holder, Leo Araguz, did a nice job getting the wet football down, and then Ford bangs it through. The 3:47 left in the period. Raiders break out on top, 10-0.
Well, you can throw, there's a good illustration that you can throw a knuckleball for a strike as well as a fastball. Cole Ford got that thing through, but credit Leo Araguz, his holder. That snap was high and behind him. That's Dan Turk, the snapper. Araguz, though, got that baby down and allowed Ford to have a shot at it.
43-yard field goal. It's 10-0, and Ford to kick off, and it's a short kick. And Vanover takes it at the 14-yard line. And Tamarik brings it back out to the 31-yard line. He's tackled there by Eddie Anderson. We go to Florida next Monday night, the next to last weekend of the season. And the Miami Dolphins reeling now with Jimmy Johnson completing his first season. And they're at home hosting the Buffalo Bills, coming off that loss yesterday to Seattle. And it's a very critical game in particular for the Bills, still chasing the New England Patriots in the AFC East. Buffalo against Miami, always a good rivalry. Next Monday night for Miami.
Jim Kelly a question mark in that game.
Yep. Midweek decision, they say. 3:39 left in the quarter from the 31-yard line. Marcus Allen back in the game. And Allen, a hard-earned 5 yards up to the 36-yard line.
That 5-yard carry could have easily been 2. Good second effort by Marcus, picked up an extra 3, and there's a man who's a little bit familiar with this stadium. Hall of Famer Art Shell, one of the greatest offensive tackles in the history of the game, played in this stadium. Was the coach of the Los Angeles Raiders for a number of years when they played in the Coliseum down in Los Angeles. And what wonderful memories Arthur must have when he walks into this structure.
2nd down and 5 from the 36-yard line, and they give it to Allen again, and Allen picks up 2, and he's tackled there by Mike Jones up at the 38-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 3 with under 3 minutes to play in the quarter.
You look at Art Shell and you think of some of those great Raider teams. Art walked onto a field, had Gene Upshaw to one side, Dave Casper to another, looked out, Fred Biletnikoff split to the outside.
The snake end of the center.
Yep.
Otto the center.
Yeah. Otto, Dalby, what magnificent teams and magnificent characters. There's Biletnikoff right there, the receivers coach for the Raiders, upstairs in the press box. Another Hall of Famer. This franchise is littered with Hall of Famers.
3rd down and 3 from the 38. And Gannon throws, and it's caught underneath by Cash at the 41, and that's very close to a first down. Keith Cash, the tight end. Very close. And Red Cashin says first down.
Gannon got it in there. Mike Jones was all over.
Gannon's first completion of the game, coming 13 minutes into the game from the 41-yard line. Here's Allen. Exploits a hole over the left side, and the 36-year-old takes it up to the 47. Marcus still with no thoughts, at least right now, of retiring. Definitely wants to come back and play next season.
Well, he's in great shape, and Marcus has really never been hurt. He had a little bit of a knee problem when he was with the Raiders, and when he really made just a very few starts in a couple of years before he came to the Chiefs in '93. He didn't play that much with the Raiders, so even though he's up there in years, and this is his 15th season, for about 4 years, he didn't play that much with the Raiders.
2nd and 5. Allen again swings out of the backfield, looks for the first down, is close to it. Darren Carrington forcing him out near midfield. They'll spot it across the 50 at the Oakland 49.
I think when you talk about Marcus Allen and let's just say Albert Lewis over on the other side for the Raiders in his 14th year, you almost throw age out the window in this era where the athletes train on a year-round basis and the way they take care of themselves. Productivity is what counts, not age. And again, you see another one of Marcus's attributes, the oldest player in NFL history with 150-plus carries in a season. It's not how old you are you still productive? And these guys certainly are.
And the environment. He plays behind a pretty good offensive line.
3rd down 1, and here's Allen seeking that first down, very close. Tackled there by Mike Jones, who's been active on this series. Among other things, Marcus now the all-time leader in rushing touchdowns with 112. He eclipsed Walter Payton's mark recently. Red Cashin indicating there's a stoppage of the clock here for.
Give it to Red.
It's not on the penalty. So
we need a penalty.
We need a penalty to have Red give us the first down. We're gonna, if we don't have a penalty tonight with the first down, we need a token one anyway.
We'll just ask him to do it.
Sure. Just for old time's sake.
With the Raiders, we'll have a penalty.
Yes, we will. Guaranteed. Clock will start, and the quarter will expire once they mark the ball ready for play. And that's the end of the first quarter at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. It's the Raiders 10, Kansas City nothing. And Monday Night Football is back after this message and a word from our ABC station. Now Mike tackles. Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf, Lynn Sloan start the second quarter. Greg Hill is in the game at running back. And some miscommunication on the handoff, and Lorenzo Lynch tackles him in the backfield. Frank, you mentioned Pete Rozelle at the top, and another thing he would have been thrilled about is that with 2 weeks to go following tonight's game in the AFC, 13 of the 15 teams are still eligible for the playoffs. Only the Jets and the Ravens have been eliminated. Kansas City can clinch a playoff spot tonight if they win, and the Raiders are alive, win or lose.
Well, he would be proud of so much that has taken place and took place on his guard. And, of course, when he turned it over to Paul, things have changed. They've gone to 30 franchises. We'll take a look at some of the accomplishments at halftime, but I know he would be proud of that, Al. And a lot of people, they say, oh, it's parity. What's wrong with parity? If you're a hometown fan, you're in the competition.
And right now, the Kansas City Chiefs, who have qualified for the playoffs, aren't playing like it. Jeff Criswell, they're
from the Kansas City 46-yard line. Raiders on top, 10-zip. Little screen pass and a terrible screen pass. In fact, as Kimball Anders makes the catch, and Mike Jones is right there to smell that and knock him down.
I just want to correct myself. I think I misspoke there and said that Kansas City has qualified. They qualify if they beat the Raiders tonight. They have not qualified for the playoffs. At 9-4, they're very capable of finishing 9-7, and that's not necessarily in.
Well, there's Jeff Criswell. He's obviously in pain, and he's hurting him. The man that's filling in for him, John Alt's had a bad back now off and on for the past few years.
3rd and 20. Kansas City faces the resurgent Colts next week, and then their final game is at Buffalo.
And 9-7 can leave you at home.
3rd down and 20, and it's a middle screen, and it's caught by Anders. And the Pro Bowl fullback takes it to the Oakland 46, but well short of the first down. Chester McLaughlin goes back downfield to make the tackle. 4th down and 8 upcoming, and in comes the punting unit and Tim Brown to receive it. Louis Aguiar has been a valuable man for them, punter, and now the kickoff man as well, and the holder.
Well, he hasn't hit a good one all night. Watch him bang this one all the way back in the end zone for a touchback.
Not what he wants to do here. You want to put it out inside the 10 if you can. Brown is calling for a fair catch, and he's going to let it bounce, and a great bit of deception by Brown because Jerome Woods couldn't make the play, or see if they do. No,
I think he touched it at that spot.
Close.
But they're not going to give it to him, are
The
they?
officials looked at each other, and Woods was not able to save it from going into the end zone. But a great bit of deception as you look at Mike Stock, the special teams coach. Deception by Tim Brown.
Looks like Criswell's feeling better, putting his sock back on.
Hostetler, meanwhile, and the Raiders take over, and it's dropped by Ricky Dudley at the 23-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 10. That was just the number 1 draft choice.
That one just a little low for Dudley. Good basketball players we mentioned before. And it's really only his 3rd year of big-time football. Great prospect, 6'6", 250-pounder. One of the principal reasons Eddie George raced to a Heisman Award a couple of years ago was his blocking.
And Terry Glenn, the Ohio State wideout, the Buckeyes had 3 first-round picks last year in the NFL draft at the 20-yard line on 2nd and 10. This is Napoleon Kaufman. Kaufman is now averaging 5.9 yards per carry. After that 45-yarder earlier, league average 3.8. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler, Dr. Automobiles. 3rd and a short 2 from the 28-yard line. Kaufman offset in the backfield. Haas having trouble getting everybody set.
Looked like a debate.
Gets the play off, and it's a bad-looking initial part of the play, and it's thrown out of bounds.
One thing about
had free reign that time.
One thing about that play, it didn't get ugly. It was ugly. It was ugly from the very beginning.
They can run that back and let you analyze that, Dan.
There's Joe Bugle, their assistant head coach, head of their offensive line over, and he's saying right now that is not the way we worked on it all week. Now they're in a passing formation. with a passing formation, the Chiefs don't have to play the run at all. They come up and show them all sorts of looks, and nobody bothers to block Neil Smith, number 90. Lincoln Kennedy lets him go. And Jeff right now is saying, thanks for nothing.
With all of that, the Chiefs just dropped back into the regular 4-3.
See, team ought to be penalized for running a play that ugly.
Penalty here because Greg Minuski was across the line for Kansas City. Was he induced is the question. If it's against Kansas City, it's a first down.
And because it's only 4th and 2.
Before the snap, false start. Number 96 on the offense. 5 yards, still 4th down.
The old inducement. Yep, Paul Butcher providing the inducement. He looks like a guy with the name Paul Butcher.
He's one of their better special teams players, all the way to the left side. You see the movement first by Kansas City. Greg Minuski, he moves, but Butcher reacts to that, and that's a false start. As long as Minuski didn't come into that neutral zone with that movement of his, he's allowed to do it.
Line of scrimmage now the 23-yard line. A flag is thrown as the kick ascends. It is Vanover catching it at the 29, turning it back upfield at the 42, but there's a flag down back at the line of scrimmage. Red checking this one out. Ineligible man downfield against Oakland. Beginning Thursday on ESPN and then Saturday on ABC this week. Greg Hill starts this drive, picking up 5 up to the 47-yard line. A pickup of 5. Russell Maryland makes the tackle.
Now there is a perfect Marty Schottenheimer first down. Hand it off between the tackles, a good line surge, and bang it in there for 5 yards. Now that's what makes Marty's clock go around in circles.
That's exactly what Kansas City should do, is they go right back to what they came in here intending to do, and that is running the football. Don't make Oakland play their game.
2nd and 5 from the 47. Raiders leading 10-0. Hill again, back thrown, takes it across the 50 to the 49-yard line. Mike Jones in on the stop. Red Cashin signals offside against Oakland.
Well, we might get it.
We might. This is going to be.
We might get it.
To a first down.
This is close.
Yeah. They may have to measure before he gives the call here.
Red will be very precise.
Right. It was 2nd and 5. So now he's telling
Number 50 defense, 5 yards, still 2nd down, short of the first down.
That's not bad either.
Offside.
Yep. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the Chiefs. As you can see, early 0.7 yards per carry. 4.7 for Marcus, 5.9 for Hill. And on 2nd and short, here is Hill inside the 40 to the 35-yard line. The #1 draft choice of the Texas A&M 2 years ago takes it to the 35 on a first down.
Ooh, and a good job by Lorenzo Lynch, who came in and brought Hill down from behind. He had a blocker out in front of him, and Greg Hill might have made some noise headed towards the goal line if Lynch doesn't corral him. Good move there following Will Shields. His guard gets an excellent block by Shields. And Lynch stayed with it and brought Hill down. A good tackle around the ankle.
1st and 10, KC at the 35. The play clock is down to 5. Gannon scrambling. Gets by Jones and steps out of bounds, and it's a gain of about 3.
Boy, that's good work by Gannon. That's making what looked like a loss for sure, and then maybe, if nothing else, a step out and right at the line of scrimmage for an absolutely nothing play, and he ends up picking up almost 5 yards. And then deftly worked the sidelines.
2nd down, call at 6. 9.5 minutes remaining in the half. Oakland leading 10-0. Hill runs into traffic. Bounces off the traffic, takes it to the 22-yard line, and a first down, tackled by Albert Lewis. Lewis has heard he's grabbed a goal in their loss last week to the Raiders. Were able to have that success going in Kidd's direction. First down from the 22-yard line. Gannon, buying time, looking, and then throwing, and it's incomplete. It is knocked down by Mike Jones, intended for Kimball Anders.
Rue and Jones. That's pretty tough to cover anybody much closer than that.
2nd and 10 now from the 22. Here's Allen inside the 20. Marcus tackled at the 19. It's a pickup of 3.
36 and 61 yards, respectively.
3rd down and 7, but the rain has stopped, at least for the moment, as Gannon gets chased by Swilling, avoids him with a nimble move, and then throws a wobbly duck, incomplete, intended for Vanover.
Boy, they've got this play set up just the way they want it, and yet they just allow Pat Swilling to run free. You have got to account for this guy. He goes by 2 Chiefs and disrupts the entire play. Boy, give Pat Swilling a lot of credit on that.
And once again, Gannon was able to at least turn something into a bit of a, at least he got the ball off and kept it at the line of scrimmage.
37-yard attempt. Stoyanovich is attempting a field goal for the first time in 4 games. 37-yarder. They're trying to get KC on the board. The kick is a liner, and it's wide to the left. Picked up from Miami. Stoyanovich having a tough time in his new uniform. And KC still has 0, down 10-0.
Right into the woods.
If we look at the hole, it looked like a good hole.
First down to the 27-yard line. Swinging to the outside and then cutting it back is Williams. Gain of 3. Each quarterback to this point in the game is 3 for 9. That's terrific if you're playing baseball. Not so good in the NFL. Hostetler 3 for 9 for 4 yards.
But you ought to be able to throw the football. The receiver knows where he's going. The defensive back, of course, does not.
2nd and 7. Haas packs it in and brings it out to the 35-yard line. He's a couple of yards shy of the first down.
Ooh, and Haas taking exception here.
Eric Thomas won by a score of 19-3. And no, Haas took offense to it. 3rd and a long 2, and Hostetler swings one complete, caught by Glover, the man who scored the Oakland touchdown, and that's a first down at the 45-yard line, covered by Anthony Davis, and Glover is hobbling off.
Derek has some tape loosened up, man. He might have had a cramp in his left leg.
Andrew Glover tries to get loose over on the Raiders sideline.
First down from the 44-yard line. And this is Harvey Williams picking up 5, tackled by the cornerback, former New York Giant Mark Collins, one of 2 guys on the Chiefs who has Super Bowl experience. Collins played with the Giants in their 2 Super Bowl wins, and Marcus Allen, and we have a little scrum that breaks out. Marcus Allen the other, and he was the MVP in '83. And it's the Raiders and the Chiefs, folks. What else is new?
Well, Kevin Gogan, number 66 of the Chiefs, one of the guys in there, and Anthony Davis. Kevin Gogan of the Raiders, rather. Anthony Davis of the Chiefs. I don't know.
No ejections. Play continues. 4:35 left in the half.
It's the Raiders and the Chiefs.
It is. Haas throws, and that's dropped, incomplete. That's Kenny Shedd, and Hostetler got banged to the turf.
Oh, he took a shot a long time before he'd deliver it. Gets hit hard a lot.
McDaniels sprints back into the game after he had come off. 3rd down and 5. Blitz is on, and the pass is caught over the middle by Dudley, who seeks the first down.
Well, where are they going to spot this?
Yeah,
this will be interesting.
Very close at the KC 45-yard line.
It might have been just a little bit of a rookie mistake there. Had he just rolled to his right rather than trying to go through the tackler, he would have easily picked up that first down.
Red saying, get out of the way. That wasn't a first down call, and he's
young man.
And they will be a little short.
Him off. In the old days, Snake would go deep to Bolitnikoff.
4th and inches.
Yeah, they're not going. They're not going.
Yep. And Neil Smith is saying, don't jump, don't jump. They're not going. Then Haas gets back under center.
Well, I'll tell you what, Haas was right to do that. Neil Smith is waving his arms around.
Yep.
His arms were in the neutral zone while he was yelling like that. If they'd have snapped the ball, he'd have been offside.
Yeah. But if you snap the ball, you don't have a play call.
By the offense.
Well, it helps to snap the ball if your quarterback's under center, too.
Right, right.
You know, a lot of times the center has free reign. If he sees
The foreground. Araguz floats one towards Vanover, and he fair catches it at the 15-yard line. So the Chiefs will have the 16-yard line.
the intentions are good.
Ricky Siglar was moving.
I somehow missed that program. Is that real?
In a couple of weeks, Adonis. Yep.
Before the snap, false start. Number 66 on the offense. 5 yards, first down.
Or you get a PSL or something. Maybe you get a luxury suite if you bring in a tank.
First and 15. Gannon's pass is caught by Anders, and he's taken out of bounds up at the 18-yard line. Make it the, they actually spot it back at the 13.
Nice.
Anything offensively tonight outside of a couple of decent-looking runs by Allen and Hill. 2nd and 11. Gannon throws, and that's intended for LaChapelle and incomplete. Albert Lewis with the coverage. It'll be 3rd and long. Or this Criswell back in, spelling all. Ball at the 13-yard line. Blitz by Lewis in the corner, and then the coverage is so good, in fact, that it precipitates a flag as Keith Cash was the intended receiver. Flag is actually away.
There is no
from the
play before the start. False start. Number 69 on the offense. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
That was Chris left in the first half. Gannon needs 16 yards here. He has a total of 16 yards through the air on 11 attempts tonight. And he still has 16. He is sacked by McLaughlin.
Who goes right around Jeff Criswell out at left tackle. The Chiefs are having a terrible problem at left tackle. Holt is hurt and out. Criswell is playing on a bad ankle.
And he just waved that time to McLaughlin.
There's Chester, number 90. Watch how easily he goes right around Criswell. And Gannon is lucky he held on to the football. And lucky he held on to all his body parts, for that matter.
Criswell giving all the indications that he shouldn't even be in there.
Chiefs are going to have to make some type of an adjustment, move a guard or somebody out to that tackle spot. They need a healthy body. Somebody can at least put up some resistance. Again, the left side of your screen. There comes McLaughlin, who hits Gannon right between the shoulder blades.
McLaughlin, 325 pounds.
Chester, normally a defensive tackle. That time they moved him out to defensive end, quite frankly, to take advantage.
McLaughlin with his 6th sack. That's how close Aguiar is to the end zone. And he kicks it away, and it's a low liner, and Tim Brown has to go to his left. And it bounces out of bounds near the 35-yard line. They mark it at the 37.
Almost within field goal range.
And the Raiders in great shape with 2:20 after a 34-yard kick. Oakland on top 10-0. Hostetler coming back in. The Raiders this year have been in every game except the one against the Chiefs, 2nd week of the season, 19-3.
And the Raiders have all 3 of their timeouts left, plus the 2-minute warning.
From the 37-yard line, Haas guns it over the middle, simply dropped, and that's Ricky Dudley, and that's been the problem with Dudley until last week. He had a good day against Miami, but drops this one here.
Well, that ball had a lot of zip on it, but it had hit him right between the numbers, too, and it just bounced out. Got to use the hands, kind of soften it into the body. Good protection for Hostetler. Watch number 83 right in the middle of your screen. Could not have been thrown better. If anything, I think you saw Dudley taking his eyes off the ball. So perfectly thrown, he just didn't look it into the hands.
Derek Thomas, who was hurt in the last series, back in here, 2nd down and 10. Good protection for Hostetler. Then he hits James Jett. He makes his first catch of the night, takes it to the 30-yard line. Tracy Simeon makes the tackle. It'll take it down to the 2-minute warning.
The scoreboard here is showing that the Raiders have 3 timeouts remaining. They only have 2 left. They took one before that timeout. They haven't made the change on the scoreboard here. Here the clock stops at the 2-minute warning.
But still plenty of time. 3rd and 3 when we come back, and Oakland up 10-zip. Tonight, only 42 total yards for the two teams passing. 28 minutes into the game. At the 2-minute warning, it's 3rd down and a long 2 for the Raiders at the 29-yard line. And the Chiefs blitz, and Simeon can't sack him, and it's dropped by Dudley. He drops it again.
Ooh. Again, one that, no question, should have been caught. And Hostetler making a good move to get out of trouble. He was almost sacked, saved himself, and hit Dudley right in stride. Dudley, I don't know whether he took his eyes off it again, but he should have handled it.
Watch how hard Jeff hits the deck. He gets undercut and he goes down, and that's a clean whiff right there. He barely stopped the momentum of that football with his hands. That's more of a wave than anything else.
That's when you think about turning your tight end into a tackle. This is a 48-yard attempt by Cole Ford, and it is no good. Had the distance, but just wide to the left.
How big a bullet have the Chiefs just dodged with Dudley's drop and Ford's miss?
That's 2 bullets.
Whoa.
So KC gets it back. Let's check in. We go to New York. Chris Berman. Chris. All right, Chris, back here. Gannon throws. Marcus Allen makes the catch, and they start this series with a little sling out to the right side, and he's out of bounds at the 42.
If the Chiefs aren't energized a little bit by what just happened to them, they are not in touch with reality. They were faced with even a bigger hill to climb than what they have now, and you would think that they might get some vitalization out of this thing, that they could have been down by a lot more than 10-0.
Well, their passing game is absolutely ineffectual. They've had men open when they weren't able to get to him.
2nd and 6. Gannon 5 of 12 for 20 yards. Throws. It is caught by Todd McNair, and that's a short gain.
Oh, and he didn't get out.
8-yard line, and he stayed in. Carl Kidd makes the tackle. Clock keeps ticking. Kansas City has 2 timeouts remaining. 3rd down and 5 without a huddle from the 43. 1:20 left in the half. Here comes the blitz. Gannon hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. Intended for Anders. Safety blitz that time by Darren Carrington.
That play was on the far side of the field, but from here it looked like Anders should have caught that.
Certainly catchable, and Gannon knew he was going to get pounded. Very calmly stayed in there, delivered the football. There's just one more coming, then Gannon had time and men to protect him.
Gannon hits the deck hard.
The Raiders are going to have a little time now.
Aguiar to punt. Brown signals for the fair catch, makes it at the 18-yard line. So we've had a total in 28 minutes and 52 seconds of 39 net passing yards.
Well, I would suspect that right about now the Kansas City's defense is not really lining up to say a lot of nice things to their offensive team. That was a rather anemic series by the Chiefs.
Both teams struggling on offense, but when you look at the Raiders, you have to kind of wonder why they have not at some point tried to get the ball to Tim Brown. He is such a threat when he gets his hands on the football. You throw it to him underneath. He's a good runner when he catches the ball, but thus far, now 1 reception here in the first half for Tim Brown.
Very odd. A guy who has caught 75 passes this season, or more than 5 a game. Hoffman, who had the big play in the first half, that 45-yard run to set up the game's only touchdown. Up to the minute passing assessment here tonight.
I think one thing for sure, it'll be quite a leap of faith before they, to go to Ricky Dudley again.
Yeah, there you go. 39 total yards, the lowest total in any half this season, 83. yesterday, Chargers-Steelers in the second half. So we have less than half that total.
And that was at a game, if I recall, it was snowing at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh.
Well, we had rain in the first quarter, but it has not been bad at all here in the second quarter.
2nd and 9 from the 20-yard line. And the Raiders pretty much content to let the clock run out up to the 21-yard line. Goes Napoleon Kaufman, and neither team is indicating the necessity to call a timeout. Coming up, Chris Berman will have halftime highlights from New York, and we'll have a tribute to the late Commissioner Pete Rozelle as the teams depart the turf at the Oakland Alameda Coliseum. It's halftime for the Oakland Raiders leading the Kansas City Chiefs by a score of 10-0. And we'll return after this message from the National Football League and the word from our ABC stations. Really not dominated by Oakland, but Napoleon Kaufman had a big run. Glover scored the game's only touchdown. Cole Ford had a field goal, and they lead 10-0, and the Chiefs have shown next to nothing offensively. They will get the football here as Cole Ford will send it skyward to start the third quarter. Again, the Chiefs, with a victory, would clinch a playoff spot. Raiders, win or lose, would still be alive, but clearly a whole lot better off with a victory than a loss. Into the end zone, and Vanover thinks about coming out. He is out, and the official was right there. Never signaled touchback, and once he came across the goal line, he had to come out. So the most inauspicious of starts in the second half for the Chiefs, already laboring with the football tonight.
Boy, Dan touched on it earlier. A little bit of sophomore-itis for Tamark Vanover. He had a great freshman year a year ago as a run back. They counted heavily upon him. He steps right on the line. He's got to get out of there. The official right on top of it. But he has had some nagging injuries, but he has made some really critical mistakes.
Red Cashin standing right next to Vanover, and you can...
I'm sure he said something.
He said, you know, if I were you, I might think about running it out of here, or something to that effect.
Andrews tried to keep him in the end zone, but it was too late. From the 10-yard line, Gannon under pressure, nearly sacked. He just dumps it off, flips it forward. Flag is thrown. Cashin can call it a safety.
That's intentional grounding. That's intentional grounding in the end zone. A penalty in the end zone is a safety.
Swilling got there first. McLaughlin got there second. Flag goes down. It is a safety, and it's 12-0.
Just like
grounding. Number 12 in the end zone. Safety.
Well, you'd like to think, if you're a Kansas City fan, that the Raiders are this tough defensively, but this is really, really ugly.
Well, that's Vanover's fault. He put his team in that position, and Marty trying to tell him to shake it off. Great pass rush by Pat Swilling, and then Chester McLaughlin finishes it up, and the play's over right there. When he threw it away, that's intentional grounding like holding or any other penalty committed by the offensive team in the end zone. That's a safety. So, in a sense, that's a safety any way you want to look at it. Swilling started it, McLaughlin finished it. But certainly Vanover and that ill-conceived kickoff return really started it.
Just a sophomore mistake, and you hate to say that because he should have got over this a year ago. He's got to go right there. As soon as that foot touched the line.
And Red would not give him the touchback signal.
Andrews, I think, probably told him to stay in, but it was too late.
You can see it took a second or two for Vanover for it to register that the referee was not giving him a touchback.
Now Aguiar with a free kick, and there was no kick. Apparently the whistle had blown for whatever reason before the kick.
Kansas City is having difficulty doing much of anything.
Well, we mentioned last night that Marty had said, as we await Red Cashin's call here.
What did he say, Al?
Well, he said, among other things, that no matter what the case, he was sticking with Gannon because he didn't want a quarterback controversy. We're telling you something.
We're testing his beliefs.
We sure are.
Let's see, he gets something happening at the left tackle position. He may not have a choice.
Well, free kicked it. And that's why they brought it back. Now you have the whistle. Ball is ready for play, and here we go. It is Tim Brown at the 23-yard line. Past the 40. Tackled by Minuski up at the 46-yard line.
There's Rusty Tillman, the special teams coach of the Raiders. One of the great special teams players in the history of this game.
A wild man.
Monday Night Football from Oakland is being brought to you by Cadillac. And
Hey, kindly to getting dropped by a kicker.
Hostetler first down from the 46, launching one for Kenny Shedd, and he was forced on the chalk out of bounds. Dale Carter covering on the play. Dale with him step for step.
Dale Carter, Frank, wouldn't you agree, has to make a mistake to be beaten on a fly pattern. Too much speed. He's not going to be outrun by any receiver in this game.
Oh, he's one of the best. Speed and quickness. And you're right, unless you can commit him to a move, you're not going to beat him just straight away. But I'm still puzzled with the lack of the use of Tim Brown. When you have that kind of a weapon, you get him the football somehow. I don't see any extraordinary coverage of Tim Brown. There's a little confusion now. Tim Brown calls James Jett over to the proper side of the football field.
And Brown goes in motion, and comes back, and he's going to take it on an end around. So at least they get him the football, and he's out of bounds at the 50-yard line.
Well, Brown's a receiver with his size and with his extraordinary ability to run after the catch that they should utilize him the same way the 49ers used Jerry Rice. Throw him the 4 and the 5 and the 6-yard passes.
Exactly.
And let him break tackles and create after he makes the catch. Brown is just as gifted a runner in the open field as Jerry Rice, if not maybe more so.
Well, they did a lot of that last year, and they kind of got away from it this year. But you've got to get him to the football and let him use that athletic ability. Great open field runner.
Third down and 6 at the 50-yard line. Early third quarter, Raiders leading 12-0. There's a flag. And the pass is thrown behind the intended receiver, Tim Brown.
Kansas City was in the neutral zone, that's for sure.
And that's going to make it third down and about 2.
Whether they got pulled or not, I don't know, but they were there.
Yep. Offside, third and a short 2, long 1 coming up at the 45.
And on that play, Tim Brown was really open. Hostetler just threw it behind him under pressure.
Offside. Number 58 on the defense. 5 yards. Field goes down.
Well, in that nickel situation, Derek Thomas moves to defensive end, gets down in the 3-point stance, and puts on probably the fastest corner rush in football. And that's one of the ways he does it, is by trying to anticipate that snap count.
Third and a long 1 at the 45-yard line. Hostetler gets sacked back at the 49, so they try to throw, and it's Neil Smith.
Oh, he wants that. Came into the night with only 4.5 sacks. That's 5.5, but he's been in double digits for the last 4 years.
Clearly, Neil Smith and Derek Thomas, the bookends of this great defensive unit, neither having his best season.
No, neither one is. And Neil Smith is 30 years old. He's going to be a free agent at the end of this season. Needs to have a big year. And that was he fell back into that play, gave his trademark swing, and the crowd booed him, and I'm sure that really hurt Neil's feelings. Joe Phillips down on the field.
Shaken up, injury timeout, 13:43 left in the third. At San Francisco.
I saw your suite, Al.
Oh, yes, you did. Hold it up.
His floor.
Fourth down. And the Raiders punting, and it is by Vanover, who gets banged down at the 26 by James Folston. And he's lucky he held on as Vanover.
Did you sense, though, he wanted to make something happen after setting up Kansas City's safety? He wanted to pop that in the worst way.
Well, and he did his job by not letting that ball hit the ground. Again, we see Joe Phillips being attended to on a Kansas. Well, this is close to the hit of the year. At least what we've seen on Monday night. That is big time, helmet to helmet.
And Vanover is a hitty.
Folston to Vanover. James Folston.
There's a white flasher.
Now Marcus Allen with a 1-yard pickup, and he runs right into Greg Biekert, having a nice season. It's second down and 9. Biekert, the man in the middle, the linebacker. fourth year out of Colorado and doing a very good job for the Raiders.
Mike White very quick. There's Folston over on the sideline, but Mike White very quick to praise Beekert, saying he's having a Pro Bowl caliber year as my man in the middle. Fourth year guy out of
Gannon on a reverse roll and runs and dives and has a first down up at the 37-yard line. Anything to get something started, and Gannon does it himself.
And it may take more than just a little of that. With this is a team in desperate need of any type of a big play, and maybe Rich Gannon running and trying to create is what has to happen for Marty Schottenheimer's club. Pat Swilling again, though, forces him on the run.
Quite a good sense of where Swilling was on the part of Gannon. Had he taken that to the outside, Swilling would have nailed him. He broke it to the inside, and he got good yardage.
Swilling's whooping everybody in a white shirt tonight.
Raiders leading 12-0. Here's Marcus Allen up to the 39-yard line. Second down and 8.
You know, John Alt is back at left tackle.
There's Fred Whittingham, the defensive coordinator of the Raiders, as he works it from the Raiders sideline. And he's limited Kansas City. Look at that, 2.6 yards per play. Less than 100 yards total offense, and obviously a big goose egg on the scoreboard.
Raiders last week held Miami to just 34 yards on the ground.
And you see John Alt back in at left tackle for Kansas City.
And the pass is high, intended for Derek Walker. Gannon is now 6 of 16 for 22 yards, so he's averaging less than a yard and a half per pass attempt.
You touched on something earlier, though, as we look at Steve Bone on the sideline. The receivers for Kansas City, they are not your Pro Bowl types. Chris Penn just emerged as the starter this year. Sean LaChapelle was in the World Football League after being cut by the Rams. They really lost a good one early in the year. Lake Dawson, he went out with a bad knee, so this is not a great receiving corps, which Gannon and Bono have been trying to throw to all year.
Third down and 8. Gannon throws, caught by Anders. McDaniel misses the tackle, and Anders, before he is knocked out of bounds, may have picked late flag, and does, and there's a flag. Lorenzo Lynch popped him, and too late, apparently.
Oh, what a nice effort by Kimball Anders, who had no business picking up a first down for Kansas City.
And Dan, he was the leading receiver for the Chiefs a year ago.
How did he stay in bounds? All right, he sheds the tackle right there of Terry McDaniel.
Boy, that's a tough call. They're trying to keep him from getting a first down. It's hard to pull up.
Roughness. Number 43 on the defense. First down!
Oh, there you go.
Well, there goes red. Not exactly what the Raider fans were hoping to hear.
I tell you, that would be a tough one for Terry McDaniel to pull up on.
No, that's
Lorenzo Lynch, brother, because you're trying to prevent a first down there, and you're going to have to follow through on it.
McDaniel there had the initial shot at Anders and wasn't able to get him down. But give a lot of credit to Kimball Anders. That was a big-time play.
From the 37 on a key Kansas City drive, it's Marcus Allen swinging to the outside, inside the 30, inside the 25, and out of bounds at the 21. Will Shields with a block to spring him. Let's get a word from Lynn Swan. Lynn.
Well, you know, of course, Marty Schottenheimer came out in the second half, and he has to be concerned with his offensive line. He told his team, you know, we've been here before, just execute. But he's concerned about that offensive line, and so is Mike White. He's been tracking his team all year long. He understands the injuries and problems they're having at left tackle. He's going to try and match up personnel on his defensive unit to take advantage of their problems, Al.
All right, Lynn, and it was Allen exploiting that left side on that last play for a nice gain, and here goes Marcus through the middle. Turns sideways, picks up 4, flag thrown as he gets to the 18-yard line. Flag in the offensive backfield. Holding, Kansas City. Not what they needed here. Not at all. Will Shields may have been the guy.
Yeah, he was hit with the flag, I think, Al. They're pretty close.
And I've seen those flags stuck in guys' ear holes, face masks. Some of these guys are vindictive when they throw that flag. They try to punish the guy with it.
Injury to insult.
Holding, number 68 on the offense. 10 yards, still first down.
I will say it is not.
First and 20 from the 32-yard line.
Oh, Looks like Ricky Siglar, the right tackle job. Kansas City imploding a little bit here. Cash and Swilling are pushy-shovey. This has been a relatively clean game for Kansas City Raiders.
Full start. Number 66 on the offense. 5 yards, first down.
Somehow, though, the Raiders find a way to make you play their game. And once you start playing their game, it's herky-jerky. You do a lot of looping here. The right tackle, you saw the movement, number 66.
He actually false started twice. He did it once, then he did it twice. And here, it's the Raiders watching another team act like the Raiders. Kansas City has more penalties than Oakland. They're the ones that are self-destructive.
It's 1st and 25 now after the 2 penalties, and Allen takes the middle to the 31-yard line. Gain of close to 6. It's going to be 2nd and 19. Beekert and Jones in on the tackle.
This must be a very pleasant change of pace for Mike White to watch another team struggle with costly mistakes. His club wrote the book. They came into tonight's game only 1 penalty out of the NFL lead. Certainly with their 5 tonight, they have retaken that lead from Jacksonville. And it must be enjoyable for him to watch somebody else wear their shoes for a while.
2nd and 19, 9:15 left, 3rd quarter. Oakland leading 12-0. Under pressure, Gannon just dumps it off. Lance Johnstone got pressure that time. He's a rookie out of Temple, who's been starting now for over a month after the suspension of Anthony Smith.
Well, if you had to look at one difference in this game right now and just pick out one unit, it'd have to be that the defensive line of the Oakland Raiders is terrorizing the Chiefs' offensive line. They've got these guys on the run. Art Shell looks up at the Jumbotron to try to find out which one of his guys got whipped that time.
3rd down and 19. And Gannon can't get on track. Andre Bruce is there, and McLaughlin helps to finish him off.
Well, you know, was that a call play on 3rd and 19, a quarterback draw?
Frank, I have no idea.
Either that or Gannon made the quickest read I've ever seen that he was going to be in trouble. I mean, the 3rd and 19, a quarterback draw, I mean, even...
But you're out, you know, you're not in field goal range.
No.
You're not in Stoyanovic's range. Remember, the Chiefs were down here one time before, and Pete tossed the knuckleball wide left.
Now it's 4th and 20. They had been down at the 22-yard line.
That had to be a busted play, don't you think?
It sure looked like a set play.
They have to get to the 12 to keep the football.
How about a 5-yard penalty?
Yep.
Maybe I could do a little something here.
Aguiar. It bounces inside the 10, and Kansas City is able to down it at about the 2-yard line. Reggie Tung.
Beautiful work. That's nice special teams work.
So there's Bono and there's Gannon, but it's Oakland's football, and they have a 12-zip advantage. Territory at the 2. They lead 12-0. 8:13 left, 3rd quarter. Neil Smith and the defense digging in, trying to pin them deep. Hostetler looking for breathing room. Finds it. Tim Brown gets into the thick of things up to the 11-yard line. It's a gain of 8. Collins and Lanuski on the tackle. First catch tonight for Tim Brown, and number 76 for the season.
You've been all over this all evening, Frank. It's hard to imagine that they played this long, and that's reception number 1.
It's so easy that just a little hook up over the middle or a little slant like you alluded to a while ago, and then just let Tim Brown do his thing with it.
I wouldn't wait another half a game to throw it again.
2nd and 1, and it's Kaufman who can't get on track. Napoleon is stopped back at the 9, setting up a 3rd down and 3. And an important defensive stop coming up here now for Kansas City. If they can stop him here, a punt would probably give them field position near the 50, and they need all the help they can get right now.
Hostetler indicating he's having trouble hearing the call, and the Raiders making some Pretty slow changes out there. They're going to have to hurry this play up.
Play clock already in single digits here.
There'll be no audible here.
Third and a short 3. Play clock down to 3. They get the play off. Haas will go to the air, buying time. Receivers coverage. Flag is thrown. He has the first down up to the 16-yard line. Minuski with a tackle, but a marker thrown, and the call is holding against Oakland.
Dan got the outside, and Barrett put the big hook on it.
3rd and 7. 6.5 minutes left in the third. The Raiders leading 12-zip. Hostetler going deep down the sideline, but 2 deep, and there is a flag thrown. James Jett, the intended receiver. Tony Stargell, the nickelback, coming in. And they're going to call it against Stargell.
That's a tough call.
They're going to have to say that he rode him with the left arm or something. That looked like sensational coverage.
Marty, I think, is indicating that ball was uncatchable.
All of those things.
And the officials may say, well, it would have been catchable had he not interfered.
Going to go against Stargell, who looked like he had pretty good position. Marty Schottenheimer is incensed. And it happened right in front of him.
Red will give us a first down here.
First down!
Oh, that's unbelievable. They called that interference. Oh. Whoa, baby.
The only thing he could have been called for was just forcing him out of bounds.
He's running shoulder to shoulder with the receiver. There's no rule that says you have to move away.
Moves it up to the 36-yard line, and it's up and swinging home. Huge run of the night.
Well, we talked about Napoleon Kaufman and that gaudy rushing average of his coming into tonight. 5'6". He broke a big one earlier, moved it up to about 6 yards a carry, and now he's well into the sixes, I think.
They talked about giving the ball to Tim Brown. I'd be tempted to give the ball to Napoleon Kaufman a little more often. He is one explosive runner.
I think he's got the highest per carry average in the league for the qualified runners in this league, and this is why.
Good look to the outside and then terrific speed. He doesn't get too many calls. He's 5'9", 180 pounds, and they maybe think he's not that durable, but he is a big 180 pounds, I can assure you that.
Well, Hasty and Collins both had the angle of pursuit on Kaufman, and he beat them both around the corner.
34-yard run, timeout, with 6:11 to play in the third. Injury timeout.
Off, but collided with a cameraman out of bounds. We'll show it to you right after this.
First down, Oakland now at the 30-yard line after that big Kaufman run. And Harvey Williams swings to the right side and picks up 3 to the 27-yard line.
Now, Kaufman has whipped everybody playing for the Chiefs. He's around the corner and gone. Dale Carter, in a great burst of speed, comes all the way across field. And watch, he'll come in from the right, but watch him as he goes out of bounds. There comes Carter. Watch him here. He lands right on the legs of that cameraman who falls on him. The cameraman is up and okay, but Carter hobbled over to the Kansas City bench.
They're looking at his left knee.
5:20 left in the third. Oakland leading 12-0. And Harvey Williams takes it to the 23-yard line. It'll be third down at about 4. Collins with the tackle. Kaufman averaging, you saw it, leading the league 6.0. Again, the league average is 3.8 per rush.
Interesting trait about him, too. He does not fumble the football, and he has that style of running that would make you think that he might. I mean, he's darting and pulling and always fighting and scrambling for that extra yard, but he's fumbled, I think, one time in his career and something like over 300 handles. Kind of remarkable.
3rd and 3 from the 23. Dudley in motion. Send him out into the pattern. Hostetler floats one, and it is caught by Fenner. Touchdown.
Derek Fenner out of the backfield. And it was a floater, but it floated right into the arms of Fenner, right at the goal line.
This crowd and that man have been waiting for a long time to watch the Raiders beat the Chiefs. They're well on their way right here.
And they're a good receiver, and he picks up coverage. Anthony Davis is trying to stay with him. Tough to cover a back with a linebacker.
Fenner, 6'3", 245, a big guy, just the out and up down the sideline, and Davis in the trail position. And I think you might call this, to this point in time, a statement by the Raiders.
Cole Ford for the point after. Key play on that drive, the call by the field judge, Jim Saraceno, on the penalty. Touchdown Fenner, 19-0.
Remarkable.
3rd and 3 from the 23. Dudley in motion, send him out into the pattern. Hostetler floats one, and it is caught by Fenner. Touchdown. Derek Fenner out of the backfield.
And it was
Cole Ford to kick off. It's taken in at the 6-yard line by Kimball Anders, and he slips down at the 22, gets up, and is tackled at the 24. And that's where the Chiefs will begin, in a big hole, in a huge hole, with 4:20 to go in the third, and the Raiders dominating 19-0. NFL history. He was 1-2 when he coached the Browns, and the rest of the victories, the other 13 as the coach of the Chiefs. But tonight he's down 19-zip, and Gannon throws, and it's knocked down.
Big Chester get that?
Chester McLaughlin.
Starts to rain, but it appears tonight Davis's Raiders will finally extract their pound of flesh. Here's Hill, and he stopped at the 22. Also took off after our network for what he called a cover-up of the interview 4 years ago with Marcus Allen, and we'd love to know what in the world he's talking about. But he promised that someday the facts will come out.
Well, we'll just have to wait.
Yes, we will.
Well, it dates back to an interview that you did with Marcus, what, 2 years ago?
4 years ago.
Marcus unhappy with the Raiders and took off on Al Davis. That wasn't blather.
Right.
He really nailed it.
Labeled a sneak attack when Davis was given the option of responding live on tape or having his remarks paraphrased or quoted verbatim or doing nothing. 3rd down and 11 from the 22-yard line. And that's too high and incomplete. Intended for Chris Penn. But the Raiders love to deal in innuendo, and occasionally they get away with it. Marcus, meanwhile, can only sit and stew on the sidelines. It's 3 and out for Kansas City.
Jim Brown, back to receive for the Raiders.
Marty looking so frustrated on the sidelines. Well, he should be.
Louis Aguiar to punt. Tim Brown standing back at his 35-yard line. Brown hauls it in. And the man who's run back more kicks than anybody in the history of the league brings it back to the 42, tackled by Minuski with 3:19 left in the third quarter.
Do we ever border on blather?
Yes, we've been. Not only do we border, we are well across without a passport.
Just wondering.
But we don't deal in innuendo normally.
Oh, no. We never deal with anything you can't spell.
That's right.
Marty would like to deal in some points
Yes,
right
he
about
would.
now.
Yep.
19-0.
Some kind of offensive production.
Well, I think the last 4 times these teams have played, Kansas City scored defensively. That might not be a bad way to get this started. Maybe somebody in a Chiefs uniform on the defense.
Well, one place that's been speculated upon as having an opening is right here in Oakland.
That's blather.
Yes, second and 12 from the 41. Boss rolling and looking and throwing, and Glover can't make the catch of the wet ball. 3rd down.
And there's John Alt. He and Criswell have been
To work 3rd down and 12 now after the timeout at the 41. 2.5 minutes left in the third. 19-zip Oakland. Hostetler guns it over the middle. Tim Brown into Kansas City territory. First down at the 36-yard line.
That's been open every time they've tried to go to Brown over the middle. Takes it upfield as though he's going to go on a deep pattern, and he just sets up in the Kansas City zone, and he has been wide open.
Williams picks up about 3 to the 33. Well, the Raiders next week, as was news,
A little more representative ball game than that.
Yep. 2nd and 8 at the 33. Cross throws, and it's dropped by Fenner. The pass a little bit behind him.
Well, much like Kansas City, though, the Denver Broncos, he's got to be feeling pretty lonely about the 2 he dropped.
That was Larry Kennan. He's the quarterback coach, and he and Joe Bugle kind of alternate on calling these plays, working out together.
3rd and 8, pressure is on, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Fenner, and Sally Amula rolls over and holds his wrist. And Red Cashin calls for the medical assistance. Boy, and he makes the dirty work look very pretty. He's had a great career. 4th down and 8 at the 34-yard line. And the Raiders going for it. Leading 19-0, and Hostetler guns one, and it's caught by Tim Brown at the 20, and Brown into the end zone. Touchdown.
All right, Jeff.
Does that qualify as a better late than never with Tim Brown?
He can turn a game around so quickly for you. Coming all the way from across the field, you have to protect your quarterback to get this off. But he came back and gave the Haas a good angle to deliver that ball, and then he just outrun everyone to the corner of the end zone.
Well, the mistake, Mark Collins went for the football instead of playing the receiver and paid the ultimate price when you gamble. Didn't get the football and gave up a touchdown.
Cole Ford for the point after. Celebration time in Oakland, California, because with 52 seconds left in the third quarter, it is 26-0.
Again, just another crossing pattern. Collins gambles, and then it's just a dash to the corner. It's a good effort by Stargell here, 45. He launches himself at Tim Brown, but Tim was already past the pylon.
And he reacts. 4th down and 8 at the 34-yard line. And the Raiders going for it. Leading 19-0, and Hostetler guns one, and it's caught by Tim Brown at the 20, and Brown into the end zone. Touchdown.
All right, Jeff.
Football team that, without a whole lot going right for them, you know, could easily have turned this thing around, maybe be 9-4 coming in here, just like Kansas City.
Cole Ford sends it down to Vanover. He swings to the left, has some room to roam. He's into Oakland territory and finally banged out of bounds at the 40-yard line.
And too, Dan, with Hostetler hurt at the beginning. They've got history on this side, the only wild card team that ever went to the Super Bowl.
First down at the 43 after a 51-yard Vanover return. And that's caught over the middle by Kimball Andrews. He's tackled at the 38-yard line by Mike Jones as the time ticks down in the third quarter.
Yeah, they're the only wild card team to win a Super Bowl. They, of course, they were the last AFC team to win a Super Bowl.
Well, they beat the Eagles in that particular Super Bowl, and then they beat the Redskins the last time the AFC won, and Marcus Allen was the MVP of the game.
And I dare say that some of our viewing audience wasn't even born when that happened.
Hey, that was
at the 39-yard line. Gannon rolling, throwing, and it's knocked down, intended for Chris Penn, Lorenzo Lynch with the pop.
And Lance Johnstone, the rookie, all over Gannon.
Fourth down and 6. Chiefs compelled to go for it. And they have to take another timeout. Well, Monday Night Football. 4th and 6 now from the 39. Gannon throws, and it's caught, and it is a first down as Todd McNair makes his catch at the 31-yard line, and the period ends. End of 3. Oakland 26, Kansas City nothing. Monday Night Football returns after this from our ABC stations. First down for Kansas City at the 31, and Gannon's pass is dropped by Todd McNair. Fourth quarter underway. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf, Lynn Swan in Oakland, where the Raiders are dominating 26-0.
McNair, a long time Chief, before he opted for free agency and went with Houston last year. He came back as a free agent to Kansas City, works well out of the backfield, and they need something to lift their passing game. They have really struggled tonight.
Second and 10 at the 32-yard line. Gannon to LaChapelle inside the 20, upended at the 11-yard line by Lorenzo Lynch. First down, KC.
LaChapelle, a big man. He goes about 215 pounds. He was not looking for the easy way.
Well, Lorenzo Lynch, a very physical, strong safety. He goes 210, and he puts his shoulder right on LaChapelle and upends him. That's a good open field tackle by Lorenzo Lynch. Look out, Chester.
And it's caught by LaChapelle. So the kid from Napa Valley, not far from here, grew up in wine country, scores for Kansas City.
And I believe the Raiders are being booed.
Well, I think they're just booing the loss of the shutout.
Right.
The crowd would have loved to have seen this Raider defense come up with a shutout. Chester McLaughlin did his part. Boy, was he quick off the line and almost gets to Gannon, goes right by him, but a nice strike here by Rich right on LaChapelle's numbers.
And a good look right into the hands by LaChapelle. Chester McLaughlin
Beat Carl Kidd, and that's the guy that the opposition likes to pick on when they can in the Oakland secondary. Stoyanovich for the point after. And 37 seconds into the fourth quarter. That makes it 26-7 Raiders. Stadium has been a rocking place tonight, 26-7. Raiders lead it. Carl Peterson, we talked about Carl before, the president, the general manager of the Kansas City Chiefs, and he has had better evenings. Aguiar's kick fielded in the end zone, and Kaufman's going to run it out. And is tackled up at the 18 by Reggie Tung. 14-13 left in the fourth. Oakland up by 19. Ball with 14-13 remaining in the fourth quarter, leading 26-7. The Raiders trying to go 7-7 and head to Denver next week, and then come back here and end the regular season against Seattle, still in the wild card hunt. Costello gives the ball to Harvey Williams, who breaks a tackle, a pass to 25. Nice running up to the 27. Tackled by Mark Collins.
Former Kansas City Chief, first-round draft pick, throwing a little measure of revenge for the Chiefs allowing him to lead.
Check the numbers here after 3. You can see that nearly double the yardage total in favor of the Raiders. Time of possession, though, in favor of Kansas City, but on the scoreboard through 3 quarters, pretty much of a whitewash.
34 passing yards for Kansas City.
Yeah, that's, well, 132. It's pretty lame.
And they just did recently.
Not much.
On first down, Williams again. No game. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Well, they went to him, and a nice catch and run up to the 45-yard line.
Well, did you see him look that ball into his hands, Dan? Somebody's been talking to him.
And that's why they were smart to come back to him. Come back and get him involved. Smart play by the Raiders.
From the 44-yard line.
What was that?
Harvey Williams hesitating and picks up a yard finally.
It's like Harvey was taking a knee, trying to hide.
My best all-around back.
Derek Fenner is split out all the way as a wideout.
2nd and 9, and it was Fenner who caught a touchdown pass earlier. They drop it off underneath to Kaufman. His big night continues as he takes it to the 45 of Kansas City and very close to a first down.
Well, Kaufman shaken up a little bit. He made a good move, though. Instead of juking, trying to get to the outside, he knew exactly where that first down marker was, and he went for it.
Good guy and a great referee.
Red lives down by College Station, Texas.
First down at the 45, and Harvey Williams picks up a yard to the 44-yard line. Red's been a referee.
No one else have had that information. No one else would have even thought of it.
We cover all the bases.
And we're just waiting for number 66.
Right. 2nd down and 10 as Harvey Williams takes it to the 42-yard line.
Raiders trying to get a time-consuming running game going.
3rd and 6 at the 41. And Haas beautifully using all of the play clock. Stays in the pocket, throws, caught at the 33. Dudley holds it in there. And that's a first down.
That's the toughest chance he's had tonight. Sometimes it's a lot easier to catch it if it's a little more difficult because you're thinking about catching the ball rather than running with the ball. A little more concentration. This is just a nifty grab by Dudley and against the blitz too by Kansas City. Good pickup, good protection for Hostetler.
Haas at 50% now for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns.
He's getting respectable.
Harvey Williams gets hit by Phillips, and then Thomas helps to knock him out of bounds. Again, in the AFC, you have card hunt, Kansas City as well, and the Raiders will remain alive. 2nd down as Hoffman takes off, and a nice tackle is made by Brian Washington.
Oh, he is electric, isn't he? So quick.
Call that a burst, and he has one.
Incredible career at the University of Washington before going number 1 in the draft. Watch it right here. Little Barry Sanders there. Little skip. Planting the foot and driving off, accelerating. Not the same height as Barry Sanders and carries about 15 pounds less.
3rd down and 9 at the 33. 7:40 left in the game. Raiders up by 19. Hoffman inside the 25 of Napoleon, banged out of bounds at the 18-yard line, first down. Derek Fenner really took care of the other Derek, Thomas.
Well, he also has Steve Wisniewski, his left guard, out in front of him. Fenner with a tremendous block. Again, remember they were setting this play up because Fenner's lined up at that wide receiver position before. Not done a lot. This time he lines up at wide out, comes in and really crashes down on Derek Thomas and knocks him out of the ball game. There's Fenner in motion, 34. Perfectly legal above the waist. And look at Derek tries to kick him, actually.
More embarrassing than anything else.
Now Fenner carries for a gain of 1. That run put Kaufman up and over the 100-yard mark. 3rd 100-yard game for Napoleon this season as Wisniewski is slow and rising.
Well, Steve just doing his
26-7. The Raiders leading it midway through the 4th. Fenner. And he gets taken down by Anthony Davis.
Boy, and Brian Washington came in and put the second hit on Fenner. Nobody's Nobody's convinced Brian Washington there's no reason to stop hitting. This guy is still laying licks on people, one after the other.
A couple of former Jets playing so well for Kansas City defensively, James Hasty and Brian Washington.
Watch this shot here. He's not the first guy. There's number 1, but there's Washington, number 2. That's putting a pretty good shoulder on a big man.
Third and 8 at the 15-yard line. Toss throws, and it's juggled and not caught by Ricky Dudley. So he makes a couple of catches. They come back to him, and he drops it at the 9.
Another one he should have caught.
Ooh, 2 drops, 2 catches, and now another drop.
Get that old jugs gun for Ricky Dudley. Catch 1,000 a week.
Yep.
Off season, it's going to be probably a command performance for him.
That was a perfectly delivered ball by Haas right there.
And it would have been a first down.
34-yard field goal attempt coming up now for Cole Ford. Leo Araguz do the holding, or at least attempt to do the holding.
Leo's in a bad spot.
Yes, he is. No blocking, no help, and tackled all the way back at the 44-yard line. Dan Turk is the center, and Araguz, the brand new holder, just signed this week as the punter and holder. Couldn't hold it.
Remember early in the game we saw that high snap? We got another one that was mishandled.
Well, the Chiefs stay faintly alive. 5:37 to go. The 4-yard line. Their last drive resulted in their first touchdown of the night, a pass from Gannon to LaChapelle. And Gannon, the 9th-year QB out of Delaware, looking and nobody's open.
Pass is incomplete.
Second down and 10.
Gannon does show a lot of presence. Got himself in trouble there, but still able to throw away. Didn't try to force it.
Saw a shot of the buildings that frame Lake Merritt in downtown Oakland, saluting the Raiders on a good night to salute them because they played well tonight, lead 26-7.
See Gannon well below 500. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. A very unproductive night under center.
Second and 10. Anders can't hold it. The pass was right there, and Kimball just dropped it. Ooh. Hit by Mike Jones.
He got a lot of help in dropping it from Mike Jones.
So what do you do if you're Marty Schottenheimer now? I mean, you've already said I'm committed to Gannon. You have a night like this. You have 2 hugely important games coming up, obviously. You still have Bono. What do you do?
Oh, I think he's got to follow through. He made the commitment to Gannon, and from a credibility standpoint, I don't think Marty could change it.
Yep, very difficult.
Keep in mind, Gannon is very athletic. He's been running for his life tonight, too. And Bono, had he been in there, he might have been in a lot of trouble.
Third and 10. Gannon throws. That's right on the money to McNair, and it wrestles him out of bounds. It's a first down at the Oakland 43-yard line.
Carl Kidd on the coverage.
McNair again, good working out of the backfield.
A gain of 14
Of course,
yards.
if Kansas City was, if they were to go ahead and score a touchdown on this drive, all of a sudden things get a little interesting here late. They could score relatively quickly.
Onside kick.
Hey, 26-14. That's at least 12 points is doable.
Faint hope. First and 10 at the 43-yard line. And it's knocked out at the line of scrimmage.
I would say I'd agree, Dan. Somehow you look down there and you look at the receiving core of the Kansas City Chiefs. You don't see speed. You don't see any experience. Certainly make it happen for them. They need it for the play action fake. Pass blocking that goes with it.
2nd and 10. He had 3 receivers to the left and comes back the other way, intended for Anders, incomplete. 3rd down and 10.
And the blitz right up the middle. I think Mike Jones is right in Gannon's face. He has no shot.
Steve Bono, the much maligned Steve Bono, but you look at his record, 28 and 11, the best among all of the active quarterbacks in the National Football League.
He had a great 3 quarters of a season a year ago. Remember that? That's what he is this year. But then he slumped off towards the end of the season. They went into that playoff game against Indianapolis, who had a terrible playoff game, and that was when Marty pulled him the first time.
Somebody threw a football onto the field out of the stands. You saw Bono, you saw that record, but you looked at this year's statistics, a 53.8% completion average. This is an offense where the quarterback has to average 60% or more. Touchdowns and interceptions were equal. Obviously, Marty Schottenheimer looking for more.
3rd down and 10. And
Chester.
McLaughlin having a Pro Bowl kind of season.
Well, again, they're victimizing the 2 left tackles for the Chiefs that are both hurt. That time, I think John Alt was in there trying to keep Chester out.
And you can see why it's so important that you have a good left tackle, a good left side when you have a right hand at the 50.
And it's dropped. And they turn the ball over at midfield.
Well, Rich Gannon gets an incompletion there. I don't know what else he's supposed to do. He gets pounded. He delivers the ball. Anders drops it. I think this is a lot more baggage here than I think you can just put on the doorstep of Rich Gannon.
But Anders, one of the good receivers coming out of the backfield, the leading receiver for the Chiefs a year ago. And I agree, Dan. You can't do much more than that.
.418 left in the 4th quarter, and the Raiders can, with a couple of first downs, run out the clock.
Boy, that was a look at a weary Warrior, and here's a look at another one.
Well, again, Alt pressed into service because Criswell hurt his ankle. Criswell started the game. John Alt not even supposed to play.
Harvey Williams, it's just about back to the line of scrimmage.
Williams.
Well, that pretty much sums it up, that look right there. And for a team like Kansas City, I mean, it's the worst conceivable sort of situation. You get beaten soundly. You have to go to the airport. You get on a plane. You land at dawn. You have a short week. You've got a game on Sunday.
Yeah, they've had 10 days to get healthy and ready for this one. And they are nicked both on the offensive side and the defensive side here tonight.
2nd and 10 at the 50. Flag thrown. Harvey Williams dumped by Neil Smith. Against the Chiefs.
Lined up in the neutral zone. Number 90 on the defense. 9 yards. Still second out.
Neil Smith. Watching Hostetler tonight, funny when you think about it, there are 30 starting quarterbacks in the NFL these days. Only 3 of them have ever led a team to a Super Bowl win, and Haas is one of them, leading the Giants in 90. Steve Young is one, leading the 49ers to the championship in 94.
That guy in Dallas, is he the other one?
And Troy Aikman with 3 of them, and that's it.
A couple of them as backups, but those are the only starters.
Right, 2nd down. Here's Williams. You still have Mark Rippon in the league, but he's a backup at Philly. You still have Jim McMahon in the league, a backup in Green Bay, and both of those guys led their teams as starters to Super Bowl titles.
Kansas City. A 4-yard pickup.
Once again, the rain has stopped here in Oakland. Field, of course, pretty saturated.
The grounds crew will have to be busy here putting the field back together between the hash marks. It's been beat up.
3rd and 1 at the 41. Center. Second effort may have been at the first down, very close to it. Bring in the stick, says Red. Wondering going on about this football team. Just enough. Been a long road back from Mike White. Talked about it tonight. The tough start, the Hostetler injury, the really agonizing losses. But this team has worked its way back to 500.
And I think if you look at the way this team's playing down the stretch, we'll wait and see what happens the last couple of weeks. But again, I reiterate what I said earlier. I think his team making a strong statement that they'd like to see Mike White get another whack at it.
Williams picks up a couple. 38-yard line. And that will take us down to the 2-minute warning. 120 seconds to play. The Raiders up by 19 in Oakland. Field, and they don't see it, and they run the play anyway, but they actually saw it just prior to the snap. Whistled it dead, no play. 2nd down and 10 at the 38-yard line. Aska. And he's out of bounds at the 22-yard line.
Joe gets around the corner, shows some speed for a big guy.
He was a track star in high school back in Oklahoma.
Joe doesn't know that all we ask of him is to stay in bounds.
Went to Putnam City High School. He was out in Oklahoma City recently, and it's quite a city. They really bounced back from that horrible tragedy, but I had a driver out there that knew him and said he was the finest athlete that had come out of Oklahoma in years. An outstanding track star and a good football player.
Aska again. The kid who lost the sight in one eye. There's a happy, well, normally they're a happy group. I'm not quite sure what they're smiling about tonight. Marcus Allen, Art Shell. Well, if you're just tuning in, nope, it's not that way at all. They're down by 19.
This will be the first time in how many games for Marcus Allen that he's lost to the Raiders? He had, what, 6 straight?
It's 7 straight wins.
7 straight wins. That's right. They won earlier this year. That's still a pretty good record.
It is. Aska gets taken down. Started to mention before he lost the sight of his eye in a childhood accident, but
again, you just think back.
Pretty good career.
You just think back as the Raiders work their way to 500, just how close they were in so many games to be looking at a rather lofty record right now with just a few breaks along the way.
Kenny Wolf, our illustrious producer. Monday Night Football, directed by Craig Janoff. Our technical director, Joey Chavo. Ben Harvey and the gang, Jaime Bravo. All part of this traveling circus, which heads next week to, along with Victor Vitarelli and Chris Pfeiffer and Steve Hurt, to Miami. Kim Bauer, along with George Hill, our statistician, Malibu Kelly Hayes, our spotter. On we go. You can go deep on the internet on NFL.com during the week to stay up to date with All of the NFL information as Week 15 climaxes with a big Oakland victory. They win it by a score of 26-7 to get to 500. The Chiefs drop to 9-5, and they do not clinch, which they could have done, a playoff berth. That'll have to wait until next week if they can knock off Indianapolis. We'll talk to you next Monday as we head to Miami for the game between the Dolphins and the Bills. Until then, Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorf, Lynn Swan. Good night from Oakland.